Hello viewers, the main team here, and welcome to the final episode of Let's Play Civilization 4 Multiplayer Mao Zedong. Take 4! Anyway, I'm just going to reply to your questions in the comments this time. I would like to cover how I would have played each of the starts in the final video here, because I've not done that yet. I did rank them earlier, but I would like to cover how I would have played them out. So I'll start with I guess Mackie. I felt she had the strongest start on this map if she played it the way I would have played it, just because she had more AIs available to stomp on. So one thing that I really feel strongly about when you have like a score game where you're not allowed to attack other humans, I would have settled toward Lincoln and QNL to a little bit more of an extent before going on an all-out chariot rush. That has two benefits. One is that the rush is more likely to succeed in that you have time to see how many units the guy's packing. So you're not going to get completely random number generator screwed instantaneously. And, once a human settles land or captures land in these kinds of games, that land is gone forever. Which is also why I often criticize certain players when we play these games for building wonders too early in the game. Isn't they just lose out on city sites. And then they complain when you settle towards them in these games. But, realistically, wonders are worth points too. So if we're going to be using that system, it's kind of like having your cake and eating it to build the wonder and then complain when someone takes your land. I mean, unless they're declaring on you. So I would have probably settled out some more cities from her start and then just gone on a steamrolling straight west. And, she did that. Or let's say that I played from both start positions, my own and hers. I would probably have lost out as China here, because the faster she got through those AIs, the more land she would have had. There would have been no hope for anyone to compete with that. So that's how I would have played her start. Just mass expansion to whatever amount of land that was available, and then either chariots or horse archers to start putting people to death. QNL actually played the game probably the most similarly to how I would have played it. There's only one iron near her start that I was aware of, and it was right next to Lincoln, and she settled that iron and proceeded to slap him around with Praetorians. That's pretty much the optimal play with Rome. Maybe she could have gotten away with settling north a little bit while at war, or, maybe optimizing unit use a little bit more, tech path, I don't know. I didn't get to see how each of them teched individually, but overall, played pretty similarly. If she'd recovered her economy a little bit more rapidly and set up Forbidden Palace as she took down Ragnar, she could have had a very competitive game here. Forbidden Palace, of course, to reduce the distance maintenance after taking out Ragnar by traveling through Bismarck. But she had a relatively straight shot over there, so that was a possibility, especially with Praetorians, and those are just incredible. So if I were to play from that start, that's what I would have done, but her opening was very similar to what I would have done. Next up, Dan Q. I covered a little bit, but I'll cover him some more, I guess. The mass great person points available to him as capital, I think he had the ability to run 8 or 9 specialists, just with the food resources he began with as his capital. A combination of that and working mines with the other cities he had to boost his tech pace could have gotten him to some impressive techs pretty quickly and allowed him to steamroll Tokugawa there. So if I were there, I would have probably settled a hill city towards Tokugawa's face just to block him a little bit, and so that if he declared, he'd be running into a hill city defended pretty well by aggressive units or by just archers on a hill, which is strong. And then either gone for a bulb shot or settled specialists with a beeline towards astronomy, one or the other. Either would work. And once you finally got a tech lead, taking them out, taking Tokugawa out, then maybe moving on to Hannibal. But that starts just inherently slower than the others because of the limited trade routes. Tokugawa won't open borders at Cautious, and the fact that he would probably have to fight a war. So he would have that slower. It's still winnable from there, But in a multiplayer game, that start is pretty well shafting. Even if he played it optimally, he probably would not have been able to keep up with the rest of us if the rest of us played it optimally as well. And then finally we have MLS's start with the Dutch there. And that was probably the more awkward start in this game because it didn't have the same amount of hills as every other city had. Every other starting spot had, So, I saw a lot of cottages from him, and that wasn't necessarily wrong, but I think he overdid it on the cottages. Because even though his tech rate was pretty sound, he didn't have the production to do anything with it for the majority of the game. And in a tech trade game where there's no tech trades, he really needed to get to democracy before he could do anything in terms of production. And that really showed when he went for communism for when we went to permanently ally and went to pick off some of Bakal's cities and couldn't even get one. He just did not have the production for that. Now, what I would have done there, I would have probably still had 3 or 4 highly cottaged cities, and then the rest would be on mines, and, of course, a great person farm. Every civ should have a great person farm. And I would have probably done the exact same medieval type war as him as I did with Mao there. And probably similar results. It was just a question of who did it first. He went communism, I went down the banking line. Really, neither of us had anything better than medieval warfare before Pakal was dead. So, and as you can see, both of us easily were touching borders with him, either through the mountain range or from the west like I did, long before either of us declared on Pakal. So with enough preparation, that could have been done. And I would have probably gone that route even with Willem. And there's just, on this map, it was kind of forced based on what I saw. So yeah, here's the ending screens. I'll try to just respond to the questions in the comments by, just comment replying like I did in the other video when I had a week off because I lost my headset and didn't get a chance to get another one. So I'm just going through the demographics here. I did finish second. MLS had a slightly better straight-up tech commerce economy than me. Although if I built wealth everywhere and cranked my slider, I would have overtaken them just on pure city count. So yeah, and there's just a quick rundown of units killed, losses, stuff like that. Pretty efficient conversions, especially for medieval warfare against hill enemies. But, nothing too surprising. The AI is not very good at warfare. And then just a quick look at the city, like what I built in my cities. I always do that for the forum, so. And yeah, pretty good score for me this game. I don't usually score quite that well in multiplayer. But alright, that about takes care of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Yeah, I will probably do the favored one next. I have an idea of what I'm going to be doing already. So, it won't be long. So, alright, I will see you then. For now, the main team signing off.